Hi everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're diving into a heartbreaking turning point in Diep and James's journey, when James is forced to sacrifice almost all of DJ's profit just to save her life. The surgery succeeds, but Diep still doesn't wake up. Will she ever open her eyes? And what price will James have to pay for this choice? If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next episodes. The sharp smell of disinfectant still hung in the air. The worst of the chaos had passed. A few hours ago, the hallway outside the operating room was full of shouting and rushing feet as Diep was wheeled in for emergency surgery. Now the red emergency light was off. The surgery was technically done, but James knew things weren't over. He stood in the corridor, back against the cold wall, replaying everything in his head. The fall, the blood, the ride down the mountain. The doctors had saved her life in the first stage, stopped the internal bleeding, stabilised her. But there were still more steps to go. Bone fixation, post-op care, medicine, maybe another smaller procedure. Without money, the hospital would only keep her in a basic state. No extra treatment, no intensive rehab, nothing that could really bring her back properly. And right now, James was broke. Ana oi, noin ha ben han Diep vai songhuan tat vien pijot hain he. The nurse came up, holding a file. We've completed the critical surgery, she explained. The doctors want to move her to better recovery care, but we need another payment for the next steps. If the fee isn't cleared soon, we can only keep her in minimum support. Minimum support? The phrase stabbed right through him. How much? James asked. She showed him the figure. That amount was everything he had planned to rotate into buying pomelos for DJ's next shipment. It was supposed to be cash flow, profit, growth, the future. Now it had become a countdown over Diep's bed. James walked toward the stairwell, phone in hand. He opened his bank app, hoping some miracle had happened in the last hour. Nothing. The big transfer from the pomelo deal was still processing. His current balance could only cover a fraction of the hospital's demand. He tried calling the bank again. Is there any way to release my incoming transfer faster? It's an emergency. I'll pay whatever fee you want, he said. Emraties, Anj A, the operator replied. The system is automatic. It still needs a few days. A few days? James ended the call and let his head fall back against the concrete. A few days might be the difference between Diep fully recovering or living the rest of her life with complications. He started dialing every number that came to mind. Old classmates, business contacts, relatives, anyone who might be able to move money quickly. Bro, I'm in a really urgent situation. Can you lend me a big amount just for a short time? I'll pay you back as soon as my client pays. Some were sympathetic but honest. My capital is all stuck right now. Some hesitated. Let me think. I'll get back to you. Some didn't pick up. With each failed call, the corridor seemed to grow colder. James slipped his phone back in his pocket and walked slowly toward the intensive care area. Through the glass window, he could see Diep, still unconscious, tubes and lines running from her body to machines that beeped quietly in a rhythm that was both comforting and terrifying. If I can't pay, they'll scale back everything, he thought. Cheaper medicine, less monitoring, no extra scans. What if something goes wrong and they don't catch it in time? The idea made his stomach twist. He opened his contacts again, scrolling without really seeing anything, until one name suddenly froze his thumb. Pomelo buyer, partner. A dangerous idea flashed through his mind. The big batch of pomelos waiting in the mountain village was supposed to be DJ's chance to push its niche. Clean, high-quality fruit directly from the farmers, good price for them, stable profit for DJ. He had calculated every dong so carefully to make sure the company moved one step forward this season. But what if he gave up the profit? What if he slashed the selling price so low that DJ barely earned anything, or almost nothing, in exchange for one thing only, immediate cash? His heart pounded. From a business point of view, it was a terrible decision. From James's point of view, staring at the girl lying unconscious on the other side of the glass, it was the only choice that made sense. He hit call. The line rang a few times. James, my man, "How's the pomelo situation up there?" The partner's cheerful voice came through. "The fruit is good," James said, "but I need to adjust our deal." "Adjust?" The man's tone sharpened. "What kind of adjustment?" "I'm willing to lower the price," James replied. "Significantly lower than what we agreed before." There was a short silence on the other end. "Since when does a seller call me to cut his own price?" the buyer said slowly. "What's the catch, James?" "The catch is this," James said. "I need you to release the money now, today. I want an advance payment as soon as possible. You can hold back the rest until everything's delivered, but I need the bulk of it in my account immediately." "You know, our financial process isn't that fast," the buyer replied. "And how low are we talking about here? Give me a number." James took a breath, doing the brutal math in his head. At this figure, DJ would almost completely lose its margin on the deal. He gave the number. The buyer gave a long whistle. "Wow, you're really cutting yourself open here. With that price, do you even have profit left?" "If I'm honest," James said, "almost none." "Then why do it?" James looked through the glass again, at the pale figure under the thin hospital blanket. "We can rebuild profit later," he said, "but if I lose her now, I can't rebuild that." On the other end, the buyer went silent. James could hear faint office sounds, a keyboard tapping somewhere. Finally, the man sighed. "All right, I'll talk to finance. I can't promise the full amount right away, but I'll push for a big advance. You send me an updated contract immediately. New price, note about early payment. If it's clean, we'll process it today." "That's all I need," James said. "Thank you." They hung up. He moved to a quiet corner of the hallway, opened his email, and pulled up the contract file. Right there, with the beeping of machines in the background, he rewrote the terms. New unit price, lower margin, urgent advance. He signed it and hit send. All he could do now was wait. Again. A few long minutes later, his phone buzzed. A notification from his bank app popped up. "Your account has just received." He stared at the number. It wasn't everything he had hoped for, but it was enough. Enough to keep the doctors going. Enough to buy Diep a real chance. The moment the bank notification popped up, James moved. He didn't even bother to sit down and think. He turned around and went straight to the billing counter, phone in hand, heart pounding like it was trying to catch up with everything that had just happened. "I'm here to pay for patient Diep," he said, holding out the screen. "For the next treatment phase, I'll cover the full amount you requested." The cashier checked the system, typed a few lines, then nodded. "All right, this completes the additional fee. We'll notify the department so they can continue her treatment and move her to better care." "Please tell them not to hold back because of money anymore," James replied quietly. "Just do whatever is best for her. I'll handle the rest later." Walking back down the hallway, he felt, not lighter, but at least less helpless. The doctors now had what they needed. The rest was out of his hands. A while later, the same doctor in green scrubs came to find him. "We've updated her plan," the doctor said. "The major surgery went well. With this payment, we can continue with medication, monitoring, and the follow-up steps she needs. From a medical perspective, things are under control." James's shoulders relaxed a little. "So, she's okay now?" The doctor paused. James felt his throat tighten. "She's stable," the doctor said slowly. "Her injuries have been treated. The bleeding is under control. The bones are fixed as much as they can be, but..." That word again. "She's still unconscious. There is some head trauma. Right now, we can't say when she'll wake up. It might be soon. It might take days. Sometimes longer. Our job now is to give her body the best environment to heal. The rest is up to her." "So what can I do?" James asked. "Stay close. Talk to her," the doctor replied. "Even patients in a coma often respond to familiar voices. We'll keep an eye on her. If there is any change, the nurses will let you know immediately." James nodded. "Can I see her now?" "Of course," the doctor said. "Come with me." They walked down the corridor together. The sounds of the hospital felt strangely distant. Footsteps, soft beeps, quiet conversations in other rooms. The doctor pushed open a door and stepped aside. James walked in. The room was calm, almost too calm. Machines hummed quietly. A heart monitor beeped in a slow, steady rhythm. Tubes and wires connected the bed to the machines, a web of plastic and blinking lights. And in the middle of it all was Diep. She lay still on the bed, her face pale but clean, the bruises on her skin softened by the harsh white light. An oxygen tube rested under her nose. Her hair was pushed back, revealing the bandage on her head. She looked like she was sleeping, a deep, heavy sleep she couldn't quite wake up from. James pulled a plastic chair next to the bed and sat down. For a long while he didn't say anything. He just stared at her, trying to understand how a person who'd been laughing on the back of his motorbike that morning could end up like this by nightfall. "Hey," he finally said, voice low. "It's me." No answer, not even the smallest twitch. "The doctors say you did well," he continued softly. "Your body fought hard. The surgery worked. They fixed what they could fix. So now it's your turn to wake up, okay?" The monitor kept beeping like it didn't care. He leaned forward and took her hand carefully, afraid to hurt her but even more afraid to let go. Her fingers were warm, but limp. "You know what I did for you today?" he murmured. "I basically burned DJ's profit for this whole Pomelo deal." A faint smile tugged at the corner of his mouth, but there was no humour in it. "All those plans I bragged about, our niche, building a clean fruit brand, smart margins, sustainable growth. I cut right through them in one phone call," he said. "Your medical bill is sitting where my profit was supposed to be." He shook his head, looking at her face. "But I'd still do it again," he whispered. "So you better wake up and make all of this worth it, okay? Don't make me be the idiot who lost both the deal and the girl." Time blurred after that. Nurses came in to check her vitals, adjust the drip, note numbers on a chart. Someone asked James if he wanted to grab food. He said no. Someone offered to show him to the family waiting room so he could lie down properly. He refused again. He stayed in that chair, sometimes sitting straight, sometimes leaning forward, sometimes just resting his forehead on the edge of the bed, but always with one hand touching hers. Outside, evening slowly turned into night. The sky beyond the small window became a solid black wall. The hospital grew quieter, but the beeping in the room stayed the same. His phone vibrated on the bedside table. Messages. A supplier asking about the new price. A staff member from DJ forwarding questions about the revised contract. A confirmation email from the buyer mentioning the deadline for delivering the pomelos. For once, James didn't rush to reply. He looked at the screen, then turned it face down. "DJ can wait a little," he said quietly. "You come first." Sometimes he talked to her about the mountain road, the farmers, the way she had argued with him about going up there, insisting she didn't want to just sit at home and wait. "You said you wanted to see everything with your own eyes," he reminded her. "You said DJ shouldn't just be a company, it should have a heart." "Well, congratulations. I think you just became that heart." Other times he just sat in silence, listening to the sounds of the monitor like it was the only proof she was still here. At some point in the night, exhaustion finally caught up. His head dropped forward, his eyes closed, and sleep pulled him under right there in the chair, hand still wrapped around hers. When he jerked awake, his neck ached. The window was no longer pitch black. A faint grey light had started to appear outside. Dawn was coming. James rubbed his face and immediately looked at her. Still the same, eyes closed, chest rising and falling, heart lines steady on the screen. No miracle, no sudden gasp or whispered "James" like in the movies. He let out a long, slow breath. "At least you're still here," he said softly. "That's enough for now. I can fight the rest if you just stay." He tightened his grip on her hand. "Take your time," he whispered. "Just don't forget the way back." Deep lying motionless between life and full awakening. James slumped in a plastic chair, eyes red, refusing to let go of her hand. The surgery is over. The bill is paid. The profit is gone. And hanging in the air, the questions no one can answer yet. when will she open her eyes? And when she does, what will be left of James, of DJ, and of the future he just gambled everything to protect?
Yêu cầu thêm một khoản tiền lớn cho giai đoạn phục hồi quan trọng về sau. James thì cạn sạch tiền, nguồn vốn từ thương vụ bưởi còn đang treo. Bị dồn đến đường cùng, anh buộc phải gọi cho đối tác chấp nhận bán lỗ lô bưởi với giá rẻ hơn rất nhiều, gần như hy sinh hết lợi nhuận của DJ để đổi lại lấy việc giải ngân tiền nhanh. Nhờ đó bệnh viện tiếp tục điều trị, nâng cấp chăm sóc và giữ được mạng sống hơn Diệp. Về y khoa, mọi thứ tạm ổn, nhưng Diệp vẫn hôn mê, chưa có dấu hiệu tỉnh lại. Diệp ngồi bên cạnh suốt đêm, nắm chặt tay cô. Tập phim khép lại với câu hỏi bao giờ Diệp mới mở mắt, bao giờ mới tỉnh lại.